Today, we're going to talk about how the absolute worst season of your life can actually become the foundation of your greatest strength. It's the story of the storm that built him.
Seriously, have you ever had one of those times where it just feels like everything is going wrong? Like life is pushing you right to the very edge? Well, that's exactly where we find a young man named Daniel. You see, his story doesn't start with some big, loud crash. It starts with a silent storm, one that was brewing just under the surface, where nobody could see it.
To everyone who knew him, Daniel looked totally fine. You know, calm, normal, nothing to worry about. But on the inside, oh, it was a completely different story. He was fighting these huge battles that nobody else even knew existed. And look, it wasn't just one bad thing, it was like a cascade. First, he loses his job, just completely out of the blue. Then, like dominoes falling, his savings just run out. And the friends he thought he could always count on, they slowly faded away. The calls just stopped coming. The pressure was just building and building day after day. And then came the questions from family. You know the kind. The ones that are meant to sound like concern, but really just land like judgment. It started with this. And of course, it quickly escalated to this. The weight of those words was just immense. The feeling of being constantly scrutinized, of falling behind everyone else. And finally, this one. The classic comparison. That statement felt like someone was pressing down on an open wound. It was this mix of his own silent struggle and all these external pressures that brought him to a really critical moment. And that brings us right to the breaking point. This is the moment where that silent internal storm and a very real, very wet external storm finally collided. I want you to just picture this for a second. Daniel is walking home in this heavy downpour, completely drenched because he couldn't even afford a bus ticket. The storm raging outside was a perfect, almost poetic, mirror for the chaos and despair he was feeling inside. He was just utterly defeated. And in that moment, at his absolute lowest, walking in the rain, he just whispers this question to himself. It wasn't a question that was really looking for an answer. It was more like a cry of pure exhaustion from the fight. But you know what? Something happened out there in that rain. That breaking point, it didn't actually shatter him. Instead, it triggered this single most important part of this entire story, the mindset shift. Standing there, soaking wet, feeling like he had nothing left, Daniel realized he had a choice. It wasn't loud or dramatic at all. It was just a quiet, internal decision. He could either let all this hardship break him, or he could find a way to let it build him. And he made that choice right then and there by changing the fundamental question he was asking himself. He went from that passive victim's cry of, "Why is this happening to me?" to the active, powerful question of a learner. What is this trying to teach me? That one simple shift in perspective, it changed absolutely everything. And what did life start to teach him? Well, all the things that comfort and ease could never teach. All that waiting taught him real patience. Having nothing taught him a deep humility. The daily struggle, it forced him to build discipline. And through all of it, he discovered this incredible resilience he never even knew he had. So a new mindset is one thing, but it's nothing without action, right? So Daniel began the slow, tough process of rebuilding his life on a completely new foundation. And you can see the results of that internal shift right here. Before the storm, back when life was easy, he was careless. He wasted money. He put off opportunities. But now, his actions became so much more purposeful. He learned new skills. He networked with intention. He focused only on what he could control. Because honestly, that was all he had left. This was his path forward. And it wasn't some giant leap. It was a series of small, consistent, daily steps. He learned new skills using free stuff he found online. He started volunteering, trading his time to get experience since no one would hire him. He stopped waiting for the phone to ring and started networking with purpose. And most importantly, he just committed to improving himself a little bit every single day, even when nobody was watching. That slow, deliberate process was the whole game. So, years go by. After rebuilding his life one small opportunity at a time, Daniel could finally look back with real clarity. And this brings us to the big, universal lessons that we can all take away from his storm. This is the core realization right here. That period of his life that felt like the absolute end was actually the beginning. It was the very thing that stripped away all his weaknesses
and forced him to build the kind of strength that would define the rest of his life. And this leads to a really powerful truth. When you're in the middle of a storm, it's so easy to feel like you're being punished for something. But Daniel's story, it offers a completely different way of looking at it.
The challenges aren't punishments, they are preparation. They're like the fire that refines gold, or the intense pressure that creates diamonds. They're life's training ground, getting you ready for what's coming next by building the strength you're going to need.
So when life gets hard, just try to remember the logic of this storm. It will not last forever. The pain you're feeling is productive. It's actually building your strength. Real growth is never, ever comfortable. And victory always, always follows endurance.
Daniel's final realization wasn't just that he survived his storm, it was that the storm actually saved him from a life of carelessness, of just being average. And that leaves us with a question to think about. What is your hard season preparing you for?